Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel! Okay, today we have June TBR, a few days late, but that's okay. That's okay. So I've got a lot of really exciting things to talk with you guys about. And I've got some books that I'm very excited about to read. Some of them I've already started because today is June 3rd when I'm filming this. So let's get into it. So the first thing that I want to mention that I want to read in June is some historical romance. So if you've been around for a while, you may remember a book club that me and Jen from the Book Refuge have that is called the Rake Appreciation Society. It's been about 1.5 years since we've had our book club, and that was mostly because I was just feeling super overwhelmed with life and work and health and everything, and I just felt like I couldn't commit to not necessarily the reading of the book, but the live show and the discussion. Like, that just seemed like way too much. And I also feel like if you've been paying attention, you've probably also noticed like a dip in my content. I haven't been making as many videos as I used to, but I have really missed this book club. Jen has really missed it. I've missed talking with her and I've missed talking with you guys. And I also feel like just some things that I've been hearing on like threads and everywhere about like the fate, the future of historical romance. I want to try and uplift it as much as possible because I love that subgenre of romance so much. So Jen and I decided that we would go ahead and reignite or restart, I don't know, reignite isn't the right word, to have a summer session of our book club. So we have 2 books, 2 historical romance books picked, and you have June and July to read them. We will have our live show sometime in August. I'm not entirely sure when, but I'm very, very excited about that. I love our live shows and it's going to be so much fun. So the books that we picked, the book that I picked is The Marquis Who Mustn't by Courtney Milan. I love this cover so much. This is book 2 in, I believe, the Wedgeford. I can't remember what the series is called. It's called something, but I don't believe that you need to read it in order. The first book in the series is The Duke Who Didn't, which I loved, but I think that it's the sort of series where obviously it's like it's a different couple. It's a contained romance in here. You would be perfectly fine just picking this up and reading it. I did really enjoy The Duke Who Didn't, so if you want to read that as well, tack that onto your summer reading list to go right ahead. But this is what we will be reading. This is my pick. I love Courtney Milan and I'm very excited about this one. This says, "One good fraud deserves another. Miss Naomi Kwan has spent years wanting to take ambulance classes so that she can save lives, but when she tries to register, she's told she needs permission from the man in charge of her. It would be incredibly wrong to claim that the tall, taciturn Chinese nobleman she just met is her fiancé, but Naomi is desperate, and desperate things call for fake engagements." So I'm very excited about that. I think this sounds adorable and wonderful, and I just love Courtney Milan, so I'm very, very hyped for this one. Now, the book that Jen picked is Tempted by His Kiss by Tracy Ann Warren. This one I know Jen has wanted to read for a really, really long time, and I think this one has a beautiful cover. I thought that I owned this one. I think I did at some point, and I don't know if I donated it or what, but I don't have a physical copy of this, but I did get the Kindle. There is also an audio of this book. There isn't an audio of The Marquis Who Mustn't yet, so you do have to read this either on Kindle or paperback, but there is an audio for Tempted by His Kiss. So I'm super excited about that. Please join us. We would love to meet up with y'all again and have this book club. And then another thing that I am doing in my pursuit of preserving and doing, hopefully trying to uplift historical romance, I have been making more content on TikTok recently. And while my focus there has been largely fantasy books and just everything that I'm reading, I also talk a lot about historical romance over there. And so I have noticed that on TikTok, Fable book clubs are a big thing. So I went ahead and started a Fable book club called Most Ardently. I will have the link to the book club down below if you want to join. This is just basically a text book club only, where we discuss about the book in text, in sort of like we did in Discord, so there won't be a live video show. This is just a text-based book club. But I picked this for the first book, and I know that probably y'all have probably read this, but I thought this would be a good pick to try and lure in some TikTok readers because it does feel very modern. I think this is a very approachable first historical romance for someone who is new to the genre and they're used to reading modern contemporary romances. I thought this would be a really good pick. This is one of my favorite Sarah MacLean books. I think there's a lot of good things to discuss in here. This is for the whole month of June, so read this with us, join the Fable Book Club. I think it will be a lot of fun. Hopefully, I've never done it before. I'm brand new over there on Fable, so we shall see. So anyway, these two are books I want to read in June for sure. So those are definitely happening. Now let's go ahead and talk about some other books that are on my Kindle, that are on my June TBR, that are historical romances that I don't have physical copies for. Well, one is a contemporary romance. So one book that I really want to read is The Problem with Players by Brittany Cherry. I love Brittany Cherry. I think she's incredible. This book is her newest release. It's a baseball romance, and I've already started it. I'm about 20% of the way into it. I did get an ARC for this. I didn't get it read on time, as I'm continuously missing those deadlines, and I just, like, I'm doing the best I can, you know? So this one is basically, she is engaged to be married. This is only the second time she's been in love. I think she's like 36 or 38. She's a baseball coach at a high school, and she had this big love affair when she was 18 with this boy she fell in love with. He broke her heart. And now he enters the picture as going to be her assistant coach for this high school team. So it seems like this is set up to have a lot of angst. I'm really enjoying it so far. I like the characters. I'm very excited about this one. So that for sure is happening. Okay, so the other books that I want to read that are historicals that I have on my Kindle. One is Always Remember. This is Mary Bellogg's newest release. I believe this is book 3 in the series, and this has Jenny, and I can't remember the hero's name, but I know exactly who he is. He is sort of the byblow of the main family of the book. I also started this way back. I think I started this before I had my surgery, and I just was really having a hard time focusing and reading, and so I'll probably start this over because I was only like 7% into it. So I love Mary Bellog. I'm excited about this new release. Another book I want to read for sure is A Heart Sufficient by Nicole Van. This is the final book in the Penleith series. This is a favorite historical romance series of mine. I've loved every single book in this series, so I'm very, very excited about this one. I'm not sure who this one even features because we already read the sister and her 2 brothers, so that little sibling mashup is done. So I didn't even read the blurb to see who this book covers, but I've loved her historical romances. I'm very excited about this one. So another historical romance I want to read is The Best Laid Plans by Sarah Eden. Sarah Eden is a fabulous author. I've really only read, I think, 2 of her books, 2 or 3, but I've really enjoyed all of them. I think this cover is stunning. Don't know what this is about. Apologies, but I'm very, very excited about it. So okay, so that is what is on my Kindle. So now let's talk about some physical books that I have here. So another book that I really have been excited for is The Other Side of Disappearing by Kate Clayborne. First of all, I think this is one of the most beautiful illustrated covers I've seen in a long time. I just think it's so unique and different, and I love the art style. But I love Kate Clayborne. I think she is a fantastic author, and I think her romances feel so believable and so true, and I really like what a sensitive author that she is. So I'm very excited about this. This one says, hairstylist Jess Green has spent the last decade raising her younger half-sister, keeping a shocking secret. Ever since their reckless mother ran off with a boyfriend she'd only known a few months, Jess has been aware he's the same accomplished con man who was the subject of a wildly popular podcast. Now Jess is 31, our main heroine. She didn't bargain on Tegan, her younger half-sister, eventually piecing together the connection. Tegan plans to do exactly what Jess has always feared, leave their stable home to search for their mother, and she'll be accompanied by the prying podcast host and her watchful, handsome producer, Adam Hawkins. Unwilling to let the sister she'd spent so much of her life protecting go it alone, Jess reluctantly joins them. Together, the four make their way across the country, unraveling the mystery of where the couple disappeared to and why. But soon Jess is discovering other things too, like a renewed sense of vulnerability and curiosity, and a willingness to expand beyond the walls she's so carefully built. And in Adam, she finds an unexpected connection she didn't even know she was missing, if only she can let go and let him in. So I think that sounds very unique, very interesting, and I have really loved everything Kate Clayborne has written, so I'm very excited about that one. Okay, so now I also want to mention a few books that were released on audio that I'm very well, one I've had, it wasn't just recently released, one was recently released. So the one that was recently released that I really, really, really want to read is called Heat of the Everflame by Penn Cole. So this is the 3rd book, and I believe the 4th book comes out this summer sometime, maybe even this month, I can't remember, but this audiobook is 34 hours long. But I'm very excited about it. I really like this fantasy romance. So that's one that I definitely want to read. And then another one that I actually have also started, but I kind of keep going back and forth through a lot of different ones, is called Funny Story by Emily Henry. I love Emily Henry. I think she's a wonderful writer, and from what I've read into this, I've really enjoyed it. This one sounds like it's this woman and this guy who their partners ended up cheating on them and got together, and so I think that the romance is the scorned partners who are together. Anyway, that's what I think about is happening so far. So, alright, now for real, let's talk about the rest of the physical copies that I have. One is Darkwater Daughter. This is a adult fantasy. It's a pirate fantasy type of thing. I've heard really good things about this. I've heard great things about H.M. Long. The second book in this series comes out this summer, I think July, and I have an arc for it, so I wanted to get to this one for sure first. And then I am finally going to be reading The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. This is also another one that I've started. This book is gigantic. I have been putting this book off for years, but now is the time. Austin is having a book club on Fable as well for this book, and I think that was kind of the push that I finally needed to go ahead and commit to reading this. So I have only read the prelude and the first chapter so far. Prologue, I think prelude is like this clump of chapters in the beginning. I've only read the prologue in the first chapter, but I'm really into it. I'm liking it a whole lot, so excited about that one. And then this is another one that a TikTok friend had recommended and gifted to me, and it is called The Bone Ships. This, again, is a pirate adult fantasy, not romance. This is just an adult fantasy, but I have only read the first couple of chapters of this. This is another one that I've already started. I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying the writing style. I think it's a good time. I'm very intrigued with where this is going to go. Okay, and then the last book that I want to read, believe it or not, is another one that I have started, and it is I'm Afraid You've Got Dragons by Peter S. Beagle, who wrote The Last Unicorn. This is a book that I had my eye on, mostly because I follow the author, because I am a huge fan of The Last Unicorn. It's probably my favorite animated show, and I also love the book. I have read the book. I've never read anything else that he has written, and I saw this at the bookstore when I went to a fantasy-only bookstore for my birthday. I've got video footage of that on Instagram if you want to go check it out. But I didn't really know what to expect with this book, and so far it's very cozy, and it's basically about this person, this guy who is a dragon exterminator. Like, dragons live in this world, all different types of dragons, and he's kind of torn between wanting to do his job and exterminate them, but also feeling like a lot of sorrow that he's killing these dragons. And some of them, they're not all just like huge dragons. Some of them are like household pest size type of dragons. So it's interesting. I don't really know exactly how I feel about this, but this has so many authors who have blurbed it on the back, and I really hope that I love it. So far, I'm intrigued, and I can't wait to see where it goes from here. So, alright, those are all the books that I hope to read in June. Let me know what you are looking forward to reading, and let me know if you're going to join in with the Rake Appreciation Society. And I'm so happy to be here with you, my friends. Thank you for watching. If you have made it this far, please feel free to leave me any type of green emoji for summer, and I'll see you in my next video.